In 1977, the first case of two individuals who desired to cut off their healthy limbs was reported. Now, earlier, body integrity dysphoria was termed apotemnophilia, and the probable reason apotemnophilia was said to be sexually oriented. But later on, it was found that the patient's desire for amputations was not only sexually oriented, but was due to several non-sexual reasons as well. And so it became necessary for them to carry out certain researches. Now, Robert Smith was the first surgeon in the world to perform amputations on healthy individuals. Robert Smith performed elective amputations in otherwise healthy patients, one in 1997 and another one in 1999. He called this condition a disorder of body identity and reported that patients desperately wanted amputation and were happy after their transformation. And so people were going there for surgery and as well. Hello there and welcome to Toluse Francis channel. My name is Toluse Francis and today we'll be discussing body integrity disorder. If this is your first time on this channel, kindly subscribe, click the bell so you get to know when new videos come up. Now when I return, we'll look at the topic fully. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Welcome back. So let's begin by looking at what body integrity dysphoria is all about. Now body integrity dysphoria, also known as BID, is a psychological condition characterized by a persistent desire to have one or more healthy limbs or functional organs removed, or a desire to become paralyzed. Now, individuals with BID feel that their body is not whole or complete, and that amputation or paralysis would align their body with their true self. And so what do they do? What the association, or what they end up doing rather, is the fact that they now reach out to find that part of their body removed. Now let's look at the association of body integrity dysphoria and other neurological conditions that can understand what this is all about. Now both psychologists and neurologists believe that body integrity dysphoria is common in people whose brain fails to map the body correctly. Now, different neuroimaging techniques were utilized to assess the association of body integrity dysphoria and other neurological conditions. Upon analysis, it was found that patients who desire amputation have brain damage in the right hemisphere. Where's the right hemisphere? Okay, yeah, in the right hemisphere. Now let's look at some examples of BID. Now examples of BID include individuals who desire the amputation of a limb or the removal of functional organs such as eyes or reproductive organs. Now one well-known case study of modern times is that of a man called Neil Arbison, who was born with achromatopsia, a rare condition that causes total color blindness. Now, Arbison had an implanted device called an eyeball surgically attached to his skull, which allowed him to hear colors via bone conduction. And so he claims that he now perceives himself as a cyborg and that the implant is a part of his body. I mean, at some point, the UK had to recognize that as part of his body for it to be part of his passport. Now, another case study is that of a woman named Joel Chopin, who suffers from body integrity identity disorder, which is a similar condition to body integrity dysphoria. Now, she had long felt that she would have been born without sight and eventually convinced a psychologist to pour drink cleaner into her eyes, blinding her permanently. So what's the cause, or what are the causes of body integrity dysphoria? The most common reason, right, for amputation in body integrity dysphoria is the patient's desire to correct the mismatch in their body. This unusual desire is due to the patient's belief that the target limb does not belong to them. The underlying cause of body integrity disorder is still unknown, I tell you, and research is going on to really understand the precise cause. Now, scientists believe that it is mainly due to early childhood trauma, sexual arousal, obsessive compulsive tendencies, or an over-identification with amputees. I don't know how you over-identify with amputees, but then those are some of the reasons that scientists think might be causing this particular disorder. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of BID? Let's get it together. The common symptoms associated with body integrity dysphoria are stress, depression, mood disorders, and integrity. The things that depression will cause in this world, it's serious. Now, body integrity dysphoria is often compared with body dysmorphia. So what's body dysmorphia? This is a condition which subjects keep thinking about their body negatively, which hampers their quality of life. Anorexia nervosa, which is an eating disorder, was also found to have links with body integrity dysphoria. Serious something. So now, what are the treatment options for body integrity dysphoria? Till now, up until this present moment that you're watching this video, there is no standard treatment available for body dysmorphia. However, conventional treatment methods are cognitive behavioral therapy and selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, what we call SSRIs. Antidepressants help reduce the depressive symptoms related to body dysphoria, and they also help reduce the stress and depression associated with it. However, antidepressants fail to conquer patients' desire for amputation, so they still have that desire. Studies report that psychosis has led to many causes of self-amputation, self-enucleation, or auto-castration. A 40-year-old woman, French woman, with lower extremity bones revealed that she wanted her both legs to be amputated for the past 28 years. Patients intentionally damage their limbs if surgeons refuse to perform the amputation, and in one case, a patient performed self-amputation of both legs by freezing them in dry ice. Whoo! Serious stuff. Surgeons perform amputation only after all the other therapies have failed, and the patient still desperately wants amputation. And in most of such surgeries, patients were found to be satisfied after the surgery is done. So it is important to note that while BID is a recognized condition, self-inflicted harm is not a treatment option, and people with BID should seek professional help to manage their condition. What then do we mean by self-inflicted harm? Now, self-inflicted harm is intentional behavior that is considered harmful to oneself. This is most commonly regarded as direct injury to one's own skin tissues, usually without a suicidal intention. And so it's also important to know that this is just for learning and not professional advice. Thanks for watching. Whether you're a new subscriber or a new subscriber, I want to thank you for watching this video. Please share if you found this video interesting. And so till I come your way again, stay jiggy.
Well, I was born with a rare visual condition called achromatopsia, which is total color blindness. So I've never seen color, and I don't know what color looks like, because I come from a grayscale world. To me, the sky is always gray, flowers are always gray, and television is still in black and white. But since the age of 21, instead of seeing color, I can hear color. In 2003, I started a project with computer scientist Adam Montandon, and the result, with further collaborations with Peter Queche from Slovenia and Mateus Lizana from Barcelona, is this electronic eye. It's a color sensor that detects the color frequency in front of me and sends this frequency to a chip installed at the back of my head, and I hear the color in front of me through the bone, through bone conduction. So for example, if I have like, this is my passport from 2004. You're not allowed to appear on UK passports with electronic equipment, but I insisted to the passport office that what they were seeing was actually a new part of my body, an extension of my brain, and they finally accepted me.
When I was 12 or 13, I was legally blind without my glasses. About that age is when I decided that I should have been born blind. I often went without my glasses. I felt that I was more comfortable. It got to the point to where I felt that I shouldn't be seeing at all. My mother told me that staring at the sun would make me blind, so I would lay on the grass and stare at the sun for hours. She lied to me. It didn't work. I wasn't really happy except when my eyes were closed or it was dark. I felt imprisoned by my sight. I would turn off the lights and sit in my room in the dark. I never did like seeing my reflection. I felt very lonely because I was the only one I knew who felt like this. I really felt the need to be blind. People depend way too much on their eyesight. People believe that blindness is a disability. I think of being empowered and being free when I think of being blind.